By Dorna Sports' very own Dan Rossomondo, the new Chief Commercial Officer here at MotoGP. Dan, the man with a plan, and he's been talking to Fran.
So, welcome to a very special episode of Last on the Break. You know I'm going to lay it on thick.
Lay it on.
You should be waiting and ready. With our CCO, as of earlier this season, Dan Rossomondo.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry I said your name in an especially northern way then.
That's okay.
Dan Rossomondo.
There you go, very Latin.
I'm sure in Italy a lot of people are expecting you to possibly be Italian when they see your name.
Italian.
Yeah. But so yeah, you are our CCO, like I said, of Dorna Sports, which is the commercial rights holder of MotoGP, as I'm sure many of you listening will already know. Spanish Mafia got a little bit less Spanish.
Yes.
That's always the accusation, and we said we're going to talk about that.
We can.
But to kind of get to know you a little bit better, introduce you to the fans. Sure. You were first with us in Austin. That was your first event. And there was a press conference with you. The media could meet you, ask a couple of questions. We know your background is from the NBA. But then, what about you? How is your kind of, oh no, you don't like the word journey, do you?
Vision. No, I don't like vision. Journey, I don't mind.
Okay, so
vision.
we'll take journey. I was just thinking like, no. So you're from New Jersey.
I'm from,
which I am on about to call New Jersey.
Yeah, the Garden State.
Absolutely. So yeah, tell us a little bit about you then for fans who may not know exactly who you are and what your position is now.
Well, first I'd like to say that I am delighted to be here. I cannot believe you chose me over Valentino Rossi. I know it was a close call, but
it was.
It's okay.
Yeah, I've been turning down calls from Valentino all morning.
I know. But so yeah, I'm born and bred in New Jersey. I lived in New York for quite some time. I've grown up in the sports marketing business. Well, some might say I still have not grown up, but I've been in the sports marketing business for a long time, working for professional sports teams and leagues in the U.S. I have a beautiful, patient, loving wife in New Jersey and 3 beautiful, impatient
I was going to say
children in
different adjectives there.
Children in New Jersey. Yeah, and I joined here 5 months ago. I can't believe it's been 5 months, but also at the same time, that press conference in Austin seems as if it were eons ago. I've learned so much and still have so much to learn, but I know my way around the paddock at least every now and again.
Yeah, I feel like when you arrived, obviously, you knew enough about the sport, but still very much like learning stuff, and you were super open about that as well. You didn't arrive like, yes, I'm a scholar of the sport. But yeah, so what kind of convinced you, what was it about MotoGP that attracted you to take on this challenge from the NBA, something pretty different?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say, I mean, if you can find a position at this stage of your career that I'm in where you can actually learn aggressively, I think that's awesome, because learning is something that keeps people going. So that was definitely appealing. I don't want to always want to be the idiot of the sport, but I do, so I will learn quickly. But I think one of the things that appealed to me was the global nature of the sport. You talked about the Spanish Mafia, but it's much more than that. I mean, this paddock is a little bit like the UN. Yeah, there's a lot of Italians and a lot of Spaniards, but it really is varied.
There's so many different people here.
Yeah, and that's a great part about it. And also, we bring the sport to the people all over the world, which is fantastic. I mean, I'm sure you'll be asking about that, but we're doing a little traveling in a couple weeks.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, so the global nature of the sport really, and also I would say the fast-paced, like and I probably didn't know this ahead of time, but what I've learned, if I had done my homework, I would have known this was an attraction to me. It's such a visceral sport. It's all out there for you. It's all, and the fans make it that way. The sounds make it that way. The circuits, the way they're built, make it that way. So I think it's just something that is just really, really exciting.
Well, it's also exciting to have someone else be excited about it. Obviously, I think you need a certain level of that to work here in any capacity in the paddock full-time within the sport or whatever, but it's great to see you've I mean, also the fact you arrived in Austin saying this and you're still saying it now, and we've not completely broken your soul.
No, I joke I joke all the time that I've gone from this hopeful optimism to at least a little bit of informed optimism. I'm still as optimistic, but now I've got a reason to be. So I think that it's definitely happened.
So now you're kind of embedded and kind of know. Wow, I was going to go very Spanglish then.
Oh boy.
You've ubicated yourself.
Oh my goodness.
Really not in any way an English word, but there we are, you know what I mean. What are you kind of working on now then? What is your kind of main focus?
Yeah.
We should say as well, CCO, for those of you, I said it too quickly at the start, Chief Commercial Officer.
Correct.
So what are, give us a list. What are your responsibilities?
Oh, goodness. Well, I think the number one thing on my priority list is prioritization, because I have so much that I want to do and that we want to do together. So in a nutshell, Chief Commercial Officer means I try to, my team and I try to figure out how we can make this sport grow financially to help all parties, Dorna, the teams, the riders, the broadcast partners, the sponsors. So my main responsibilities are threefold: the digital business, which really permeates through everything, the media distribution business, so where do we get our races broadcast on, and then the sponsorship, licensing, and hospitality business, which is in our commercial side. So Red Bull, one of our best sponsors, would be an example of that, and then obviously the VIP Village and how we monetize that and what sort of experience we bring to those people, and then the licensees that we work with across the board. So that's in a nutshell, but then add on to that, it's how do we grow in priority markets? How do we grow? How do we continue to stimulate our fans in core markets? How do we get more fans on the marketing side? How do we get our story out there better? How do we create new events outside of these wonderful circuits that we have? So that's all in a nutshell of things that that my team and I are working on.
Well, then that's going to give me a perfect segue.
That's what I try to do.
Always achieving it. Instead of doing our fan questions at the end, because they're rather relevant to the conversation as a whole. The first one we had from Instagram was from Ishman Singh, and it's how does Dorna intend to make MotoGP more appealing and reach newer audiences, which I guess is the crux of the...
That's good. It's
the whole thing.
It could be, that could be my, I don't know what they call them in Europe, but my thesis paper here is like, how do we get more fans? So it's a good question. And I would say that one of the things that I have been heartened by is that the sport really doesn't need to be fixed or anything like that. There's no irreparable damage. The sport is wonderful. It's fantastic. It's everything that you want in a modern sport in terms of how it connects with fans, the pace of it, the heroes that we have. Yeah, we like to make a little bit more out of our riders to get them a little bit more out there, but the sport's fantastic. So I see my job, and I see the job of my team, is how do we tell the story in a more concise way, and how do we bring it to people? So a couple examples. We have record attendance at some of our circuits this year. If you think of Sachsenring, if you think of Le Mans. But what are we doing in Germany and in France outside of the circuits? How do we bring the sport to the people who aren't making it there? Okay.
I've been campaigning for a Berlin event for a long time. It's the best city in the world.
Okay. Noted. But also, how do we then get our sport to transcend sports? How do we get it into the cultural mindset of people? You never want sports to sort of mesh with entertainment where you can't tell that it's a competition, but you definitely want it to be an entertaining and have people from the entertainment community love our sports. We're working on that, but always trying to do a couple of things. Unique to MotoGP, we are what we are, we should be proud of it. And we don't want to change too much in terms of this great sport that we have. So those are the things that I keep in mind. But I see myself as a little bit of an evangelist. I know that might have some negative connotations, but it's more about me touting how wonderful the sport is and bringing it to actual people. And we bring the sport to people. It's just how do we get more and more fans? And the great thing is that if you look at our research, 65% of our fans want us to have more fans. They love this sport so dearly that they want other people to love it as much, so we have to work on that.
For sure, and I guess the NBA, obviously, that is kind of, it is a sporting icon, especially in the US, but it's also a cultural
Very
icon.
much so.
Do you think that's really a valuable background for now what you're trying to do within MotoGP?
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I'm going to try to be a little bit more humble than Miguel Oliveira was on this podcast last week and say that I don't think I had too much to do with making the NBA a cultural icon, because the players really do that, frankly. Going back to Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, obviously LeBron and Kobe and Steph Curry, they've all sort of transcend sport. Yeah, it's helpful because you then bringing in an audience that just doesn't care about the games. Our advantage, what we have, is that we only have 22 races a year, or double that if you include the sprint. So we have a real opportunity to make everything feel bigger and better. So I do think we can find ways that our riders can sort of be ambassadors in the entertainment community, but also just continue to showcase how great they are at their sport.
Okay, I like that very much. So speaking about bringing the sport to the fans then, another good segue for our second Instagram question. I'm not sure how I'm going to manage to read this username out. I'm going to go for FXZ_Aldo.
Okay.
What are the prospects or plans to add more venues around the globe for next season?
Well,
or next seasons.
Okay, that's a better question.
This is not a calendar spoiler.
Yes, not a calendar spoiler. And I think it's also one of the things that I've had a quick education on is that, well, first of all, there's only so many places we can race. Safety factors being top of mind, right? We can only race so many circuits. And then we have to try to figure out how we do that in a very sustainable, efficient manner. How do we, we are going to travel the globe with, a lot of bikes and a lot of people. We want to do it in the most efficient way possible. Our racing in a lot of different territories is contingent upon people, governments, promoters wanting to build circuits. And we're seeing a lot of activity in there. And I think as our sport becomes more and more popular, as I respond to that last question, as we get a bigger funnel of fans, more and more people are going to want to invest in either existing circuits to make them up to spec for us, or actually build new ones. And so we're seeing a lot of activity in this space, and it's hopefully at some point the demand will outpace the supply, meaning that we'll have more people wanting circuits than that we can actually go to, and that's on the horizon. So I've got good prospects for us to go in new places in the next few years.
Good prospects. And then talking about efficiency, then this calendar is probably for sure this year, compared to other sports we won't name, but everyone knows who we mean. Our run in Asia is certainly, if you're going backpacking, trying to do a loop, that's also probably the route you'd choose to be the most efficient. But it's so many races now coming up. On a personal level, are you ready for that? Because it's a bit of a different pace to Austin and then Europe. I know you split some time between Europe and New Jersey still, but how are you feeling about this?
I'm excited. I'm over the moon because I'm really, every time I get on a grid, I get chills and goosebumps still. So I'm just excited to kind of have the experience in a different place. I am fortunate that I do okay on planes.
So you're not a
If this podcast was moving, I could fall asleep. So I have that benefit. I have that is a blessing that I have. I've never been to Australia. I've never been to Indonesia. So I'm excited about that as well. I've never been to Malaysia. I'm excited about that. And I'm going back to India and Japan, and I'm really in Thailand, which I'm really thrilled about. So it'll be a grind for the organization. And one thing I should probably go, there is and again, something that I've learned in 5 months, there is a really healthy, congenial, yet dedicated group of people who make this happen, not just at Dorna, but because the people at Dorna, what they pull off every weekend, it seems like, is absolutely astonishing. But it's Dorna, it's the teams, it's IRTA, it's the FIM, it's our broadcasters, it's our sponsors, it's her riders and their family. What we can pull off is actually kind of astonishing. So I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to all of them, because without them, we wouldn't be able to put on the shows we do. So it'll be a grind for the organization, it'll be a grind for the various groups, but it'll be very beneficial to those fans who are going to see some of the greatest, the greatest championship, the most exciting championship in the world, maybe, come to these new locations. So I can't wait.
Wow, okay. I mean, evangelizing, you said it.
Yeah, there we go.
You're always very good at it.
I'm trying.
So in terms of the media, the more hardcore fans, like I made the joke about the Spanish mafia earlier on, because I also want to make the point to our audiences that like we, you know, within Dorna, management, everyone, do read things. And are aware, you know, if people spend a lot of time on the internet deciding that they know everything that's going on.
Correct.
With much love to all of them, of course.
Yes.
Thanks for taking an interest.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously you're from a very different cultural background to that of kind of Carmelo, Carlos, and the other guys. How is it, from your perspective, coming over here into this sport that is, like you say, it's so international?
Yep.
How do you feel there at the top?
Yeah.
Just the,
they've exceeded my expectations.
It must be pretty different to like Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah,
you know?
it's absolutely different. But I tell you, the people have absolutely exceeded my expectations. Not just in terms of just the level of kindness and thoughtfulness that they've shown me being in this position where I'm globetrotting the world. Haven't moved my family over to Madrid yet. I'm going to see them. I'm trying to get my job done. But they've been fantastic. But also just on the business side, so open to new ideas. And I think that's some of the stuff that, maybe rightfully so, or maybe a little bit more directionally okay, is that people always think about, oh, it's Dorna, it's Barcelona and Madrid. They're just trying to figure out, and like they've been so open to new ideas and so open to us now, open to ways of doing things. Now we can't do everything that maybe is on our wish list. And not everything is going to happen overnight. But I will tell you, and this is not about the executive team, but just in terms of our responsiveness, someone just actually, one of the questions that I saw when we posted this on our Twitter feed was, can you fix the stupid website and can you put the spoilers back? Get rid of the spoiler, make it spoiler free. Well, the funny thing is someone actually tweeted to me about that 2 weeks ago. I then raised it. Last week I'd send them a picture of the new website that is now spoiler free. So we fix things. Everybody is moving at the speed of lightning, and so I'm trying to be that person that can at least, take an outsider view and see what the fans are saying, see what writers are saying, and kind of be responsive in a ways that I can. Can't respond to everything, can't fix everything.
I was going to say, are you ready to now be a one-man customer service?
Cannot fix everything, cannot respond to everything. Will not be a one-man customer service, but will certainly try as hard as I can to advocate for fans and consumers.
Well, for sure. I mean, yeah, you have been active on Twitter. We've also seen some defensiveness in the best way on Twitter.
Correct.
Loving the MotoGP.
I've become instantly defensive of this organization.
I enjoy that because I'm very much like that, and then I'm like, I don't know, is it a natural thing that happens?
Yeah, it is, but also you can be defensive and also admit that we're imperfect. It's okay. Everybody is, and we're going to continue to get better.
Okay, that's a bit of an iconic quote there.
There we go.
But we've got a few more minutes before I can let you go free. Media then.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit less fan interest in terms of how are you going to make a partnership with X sponsor or what is your plan for VIP Village itineraries in future. But for sure there's a lot of interest in TV, media, social media, how the sport is broadcast, how you see that going forward, how we could use it to get new fans, etc. What's your kind of vision of that? I'm going to use vision on purpose.
No, that's okay. That in this one, I've probably joined in one of the most interesting times in the media landscape I could have, especially having an American passport. What's going on in the United States right now, there's a seismic shift in sports media rights landscape. So managing that and keeping our eye on that is at the top of my list. And also just the way consumers interact with content is always changing. Again, how I luckily I have a focus group of 2 teenage boys at home, and how they consume sports and consume content is just, it changes every day, and it's just, I don't know the right words to say it. It's just completely antithetical to anything that I know and know how to monetize in a lot of ways. But we're working on that. So what I want to think about is we have unbelievable content. Our race production is second to none. We have over 165, sometimes 180 cameras that we bring to bear on the weekend. We do a wonderful job of trying to replicate what it actually is like at the circuit, which is hard to do because I don't think you can, because I keep telling people you have to come to the circuit because it's the most amazing thing you'll ever see in your life.
I think it's the noise.
It's the noise.
You can't turn your TV up loud enough. It's not, the microphones we have are incredible.
Yeah.
But you cannot make the TV attack you in the middle of your chest like you can here.
Correct. And I also think it's just the noise, and also there's a collective buzz of the crowds when things happen, when people see things. So from my perspective, I think what we have to do is take this wonderful production that we do, both live racing and the ancillary content that we do, and find our audiences where they want, when they want. Not an easy task, not an easy task. I talk to CMOs and marketers all the time, and I say, I don't envy being a marketer now again, because you have to be everywhere with the right message at the right time. It's a challenge, but we spend a lot of time on this. We've had really great numbers this year. I'll toot our own horn a little bit. I mean, Italy, France, Spain, we're really doing very well. In the U.S., we're kind of ongoing working with our broadcast partner there. We've had really good numbers that have nothing to do with me, but I'll take a lot of credit for it. And I think we just have to continue to amplify that this sport is awesome to watch, that you can watch a world championship event in 45 minutes on Sunday. And by the way, the other two classes, Moto2 and Moto3, on Sunday are thrilling. So you get a good moment of racing. And,
to pause there and make sure we don't break the heart of Nicolas Goubert, and MotoE on Saturday has been incredible.
I was saying Sunday specifically, and then there's Saturday where we had obviously the point race in MotoE. It'll be decided the day after tomorrow, which will be thrilling, and I think that's great. And I think what we've done with Ducati and Michelin and Enel at MotoE is we're leading the way in that regard as well. So I think, yes, I don't want to break anybody's heart at MotoE. I love it. I love it. Like I love all my children equally.
It's okay.
I know.
I think,
I was getting excited, by the way. I was going.
I've ruined it now. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've popped the bubble.
You're
just
okay.
at the worst moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much
the only other thing. One other thing. Yeah, it's good. One other thing I would say in terms of just what we're trying to do is, we do like the two most important constituents we have are our fans and our riders. We can't do anything without our riders, but we also can't do anything with our fans. So there's a happy medium of all the decisions we make. So I would say to all of our core diehard fans out there, just we be patient. We love this sport as much as you, and we try to balance all these different variables for what's best for the sport, and we're going to continue to do that.
And yeah, like you say, good numbers so far this season.
Great numbers so far.
And we've also, breaking news, got the rider vote this weekend. There's 2 democratic decisions that have gone through. Warm-up moved forward by 5 minutes, and then the press conference.
Press conference removed on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes, and look, those are all decisions that we make. The riders came to us, pressed for time, and we said, listen, these are things we want to make your jobs are hectic as they can be. We want to make them as easy as possible. But they also, and full gratitude to them, they respect the fans and their,
Yeah, it's always nice on the hero walk. You can see they put the effort in.
And they hero walk, and look at the rider parade. It's just amazing what they do on.
What do you think of the rider parade? Because you've not lived the sport without the rider parade.
Yeah, I think the picture of that Marshall in Barcelona chasing down the truck to get the hat was just awesome, and I think it's really good. So I think and then we had Saturday in Barcelona. We had the sprint podium in the fan zone, which again bringing the riders closer to the fans is the things we're trying to do all the time.
Yeah, that was really cool watching it on TV as well. For me, it's like excellent.
So small steps,
but very cool steps.
Yes.
Okay, well, we will let you go there.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's strange now. I'm like, how do I end this? Now we don't have the fan question segment that we've done throughout the interview.
Thank goodness.
Like, do you want quick fire?
Sure.
Pineapple on pizza?
No.
Okay. I tried. Our sound guys are laughing in the background.
No.
No? Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Okay, good.
Lots of it.
I don't know. What else is a contentious quick fire? Pineapple on pizza is always the one.
Football or soccer?
Football or soccer?
Football.
Oh, really?
Meaning, I call it football.
You call it football?
Yeah, I love Yes, I love both football and football, American football and international.
I struggle with both football and football.
Yeah.
I have to say.
I know.
I try.
I know you do.
I try and find the love.
Okay.
Because you went to some football.
I've been to some football. I'm actually going to a game in Madrid, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So I'm very excited.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right in Madrid.
There you go. I can't think of any other good quick fire questions, so we'll leave you there, and we'll never bring up pineapple on pizza ever again.
Never.
For the record, I really like it. And it's one of the things I'm most ashamed of that I believe brings my level of culture down quite a long way.
No judgments, though.
I feel judged and I accept it.
That's okay.
Thank you very much, Dan,
Thanks
for your
for
time.
having me.
I hope fans enjoyed this chat that also gives them, I don't want to say reassurance, but a nice little insight into what's happening behind the scenes, big changes this season, and lots more exciting stuff to come.
I
So
hope so.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Boom.
Vogliamo langosta, però mi sa no langosta.